Nick Cannon Radio, it is an honor, a pleasure, and a privilege when I get to have these candid conversations, especially with people that I look up to, that I admire, and this person is all of that and so much more. I've known him for many moons, and he has probably influenced, been a part of all of your favorite artists' career in some aspect. CEO and co-founder of 300 Entertainment, I say conglomerate enterprises, the one and only Kevin Liles, my brother. Salute, King.
What's going on, babe? How you doing, Nick?
Man, I'm alive. You know what I'm saying? As long as we maintain it, ain't no complaining. You know how we do.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I want to send a special shout out to you and everything that you do and the people that work with you, because you kept a voice from our culture going on at a time where we needed voices to be conscious, and needed voices to continue to, inspire us to get to the other side. So congratulations for you keeping that positivity going.
Man, I appreciate it, man. And you know, the whole goal here is to be on that highest frequency and only operate in positivity. Even when they want to silence you or misconstrue your words or be a part like that, it takes, you know, a lot, as you know, for someone to kind of stand for something, be a voice, and, you know, even be stand corrected. And that's even one of the reasons why, you know, when I get to talk to one of my OGs and get some game, man, I really admire how you've moved over the years from, you know, your Def Jam days to, you know, starting your own company and moving around. But I wanted to really just talk, you know, really just as a leader in your community for a moment. How have you stayed so solid, you know, throughout your entire career and continue to elevate?
I think one of the most important things is to mean what you say and say what you mean. I think the other side of it is treat people like you want to be treated, and know the difference between right or wrong and good or bad. I don't care what religion you practice, what book you read, or how you live your life. Those three principles have guided me from the street corners of Baltimore to the corner offices. So it's been a blessing, man. But you touched me, Nick. You cut me open. You know, I'm a bleed Baltimore, but I'm also going to bleed our culture and hip hop. And one of the things that you and I will always struggle with is that we have a permanent tattoo. The permanent tattoo is that we're a person of color, and we were brought here a certain way. We helped build in a certain way. We've been taken away a certain way. And no matter what accomplishment we have, we still got to overprove and over index on anything that we do. So I tell everybody that I'm still here because I'm built for whatever.
Right.
You know, I'm built whatever curveball you give me, whatever you don't want me to do. I've been being told that I'm a fad and this business is this, and there's only one ceiling for you, and you really can't own. Yeah, I've been told everything, man, and still today I sit here as the number one independent in the country at 300. So I'm just been blessed, man.
Man, and that word independent is so strong. And as someone who's repping the DMV from the soil and then to take it all the way, you know, global, you had to have some type of vision, man, and to know that whether it's the resiliency of, you know, our people, but at the same time to get out there and do it on your own, to have went through the corporate infrastructure, but to still stay true to your roots. Was that by design?
I think, Nick, I never was born to be an employee.
And even say that one more time. That's a bar. I was never born to be an employee.
Yeah, I never had that mindset. I've always been the CEO of Kevin Liles Enterprises. And even if I worked inside of a company, I was an entrepreneur.
Entrepreneur. Yo, you dropping all the gems today. Vocab, entrepreneur.
Yeah, I was an entrepreneur, and I still work. And part of my portfolio was Def Jam Records. Part of my portfolio was Warner Music Group. Part of my portfolio was Pro Sports Management. Part of my portfolio is 300 Entertainment. Always working on having the tools in my toolbox to not only live through history, but to make history as I go along. And I want all the smoke about what we couldn't do and how we didn't do it, and you only at age 16 you're supposed to be dead on drugs or in jail, coming from Baltimore. I want all this to change the actual narrative from the statistic to the success story. You know what I mean? It's humbling at times because you're still trying to be a great father. You're still trying to be a great husband. But I think about those who came before us a small town pastor who became the leader of the nonviolent movement. You know,
Right.
think about the pimps, the drug dealers that turned their lives around to lead our people in different ways as they evolve. You know, who am I to just stay the same and not evolve through a culture and an industry that has given so much to me and has changed so many lives in the world? So, like I said, I'm built to last, and I'm built to continue the power of independence.
Man, we definitely see the strength. We definitely see the resiliency. But I got to dig in a little deep for a second, knowing your journey, knowing how influential you've been in so many careers. And if people don't know, like you said, just going back to the Def Jam days and knowing how you had to oversee so many careers from the Jay-Z's to everybody that during the golden era of hip hop that was signed to Def Jam, and then to maneuver to Warner when you were working with the T.I.s, and to even now the Megan Thee Stallions and all of that. How, as someone who has, you know, their own label and stuff, I really have a issue with leading from a space where you have these people who are actually leaders themselves, almost leading leaders, leading artists, leading people. That has to be difficult, man, because I know I have my own issues with it. How have you been able to navigate that to where, I mean, obviously everybody saw the famous scenes from the Rockefeller documentary with you and Dame Dash going at it over Def Jam jackets, to just all the stories that we hear, man. It has to be difficult for someone like yourself to lead these leaders.
Right. You know, I played my position. You know, sometimes my position is to be the pilot, but sometimes it's the co-pilot, and sometimes it's to clean the plane. Some of us put ourselves in a higher regard than we really should. And I just want to be of service. And my value proposition will always be 1 + 1 will equal 10. And so every day I show up and I try to encourage them. I don't need to be in front of the camera. I don't need to be the one saying I got to have the biggest house or anything. I need to be a great father and a great contributing citizen. I don't sign artists. I sign human beings. And one of the problems that I have right now, we need to humanize the business. You know, think about the artists. They still got COVID issues. They got family members they have to deal with. They're bearing the brunt. So me treating them as people has allowed me to have a long-standing relationship with a lot of our friends. You got to understand, I came in loving Run DMC. You know, I lost my mind and felt that I didn't find hip hop. Hip hop found me, and music saved my life. So my appreciation for being of service to the culture allows me to lead without leading. You know, I even say this term now to my company. I don't want to run the company. I want the company to run. Because when you have a company that has the ownership and has the capacity of saying, hey, I can take that 3-point shot because Kevin told me, even if I miss that shot, I'm going to learn from taking that shot. And the next one, I'm going to make. And so, you know, we just got a bunch of misfits and risk takers. And we have, you know, have the, mindset of being independent, but the muscle of a major. So, you know, whether you go back to Run DMC days or whether you go to Meg, you know, winning the Grammys, it's just a life of service, Nick. And when you adopt the life of service, you know, everybody wants great service around me. And so I don't compete with them, even over Def Jam Jack. I wasn't competing. I was just being of service. You know, maybe it was cold outside.
You was just trying to give people some jackets.
Just trying to give people some jackets, man. Jackets? When we talk about jackets?
Jackets? But you know what? You dropped another gem on us. I mean, obviously, to sit with you and hear you say these things, but that's almost an evolved concept when you're talking about true leadership is a person of service. I mean, I think Gandhi said it best, you find yourself within service. And so as much, you don't think of the hip hop industry as a service industry, but during times like COVID, during the things that we've experienced where we really need voices in the streets, we really need boots on the ground, hip hop has stepped up in a big way. And you and I have sat down on multiple occasions, and people may or may not know, but you're truly, when you talk service, you're a man of the community, and you're using what you've built with 300 and from an independent standpoint, but even just to actually touch the community from the human beings that you sign to even what, you know, you guys stand for.
Yeah, I think, listen, at a very early age, I realized, think about when somebody stole my song and with Gary Left Shoe with Milli Vanilli,
Oh
when they
yeah,
stole it.
I was gonna get to that too. It's not real talk. I love that. Like if y'all don't know, Kevin Liles wrote "Girl, You Know It's True" for Milli Vanilli.
But even at that moment in time, it was a wake up call, and I think God was saying to me, yes, you can write great songs and you could be an artist, but I have something greater in store for you. Just imagine if I was just an artist. I wouldn't have been able to affect the change and been able to be in the lives of some of the greatest contributors to our culture over the course of the years. I'm proud to think about LL and what he's doing now. And I'm proud of Ludacris, and I'm proud of Jay, and I'm proud of Kanye, and I'm proud of Doug. I'm proud, like I could go down the list of the many people. I'm proud of everything that Julie Greenwald is doing over at Atlantic Records, and Mike Kaza. I'm proud to say that I'm friends and brothers and partners with Leo, who's running YouTube now. I'm proud to see Felicia Butterfield over at the Academy. I'm proud to look at Nick Cannon. Just imagine if I was selfish.
Right.
If I was selfish and only wanted to be an artist. I think that God just constantly reminds me of the importance of my work, of the importance of me being of service, and not to get too biblical with you, but the God in me, the higher being in me, thinks about all of those who were not, they didn't think they would have to do what they had to do, but God led them in that manner. You know what I mean? God put them amongst the lies, the thieves, the cheats, the thugs, people, to all human beings also, to live a life of service, man. So there's nothing that I'm not willing to, if you called me and said, Kev, I needed you to pick up my luggage because I messed up and I have this big thing that I have to do, Nick, I'm gonna go pick up your luggage because I feel it's service towards the greater good and greater God.
Man, we are getting words of wisdom from one of the OGs in the game and one of the most important people in our industry, the one and only Kevin Liles. And I want to talk really, because you always seem to have your finger on the pulse of what's coming up and what's next. I mean, we've seen the iteration and even the growth in the process of women empowerment in women in hip hop. Congratulations on all the continued success with Megan, but then even in the process, we see I feel like there's a culture shift even going on based off of us doing more in the community from an independent standpoint, owning our own masters, owning these processes. What is that next wave? Because you had your finger on women getting it popping in hip hop. You had your finger on independent artists. What should we be looking forward to for cultural growth in hip hop?
Well, I think with us having the number one music in the world, with us moving culture like we move it, we got to stop thinking millions and start thinking billions. And with that, it requires a different skill set of thinking. It requires some different people around us. And I think about when Jeff Bezos sat in his garage, or when Bill Gates was in the dorm room, or Zuck was in the dorm room. What were they thinking? They were thinking of building something special, thinking of disrupting everything that was going on. And they took on additional capital to build things that have changed the world. So why not look at, we were the first social media in hip hop. You know what I mean? We used to write on graffiti walls, now we're writing on Facebook walls. We used to hand out the flyers, and now we got Instagram and Twitter. So we've adopted technology so much. Why can't we own technology? Why can't we think about being partners in these billion-dollar businesses? I think the time has come for us to stop thinking small and to think big and continue to think global. And that's what a couple of us have done. And again, you're on that track. You don't do everything by yourself. You're an independent thinker, independent entrepreneur. But you also know that scalability doesn't come by being independent yourself. And you can be independent but not be alone. And that is
you can be independent and not be alone. Another bar, ladies and gentlemen. He's just dropping them today. We love it. And you know what? And not to cut you off, but you say so many powerful things, and I don't want our audience to miss it. Even that concept of, it used to be about the millions. Now it can truly be about the billions, but even more so than just a monetary sense. But going back to community for a minute, you're doing some influential things and kind of breaking down some doors, even, working with Bubba Wallace, just even in the space of NASCAR, and being an African American in that space is, it's pretty much an outlier in itself. That's something that doesn't truly happen. But then even when he's faced with adversity and, as we see it, racism, you being there for him and even being in business with him, tell me a little bit about that.
I think what's important, man, there's some sports that we were bystanders, whether it was golf, whether it was tennis. These sports have became transformed by Tiger Woods. Wish the best for him and his family's recovery. By Serena and Venus Williams. And now the superstar Namoska, I think I gotta say her name right, but she's just come to say that hey, we've taken it someplace, and she's taken the mantle to another place. NASCAR has been one of those places since Wendell Scott did it in the 60s that we haven't had an African American race car driver. So not only do we have the pro sports management and an African American race car driver, now we have an African American owner in Michael Jordan, Team 23, him and Denny Hamlin, and then you have Bubba Wallace actually racing with him. So we're getting rid of the Confederate flag, working to have an opportunity to compete with the best. And Denny Hamlin being a top 3 driver in NASCAR, partnered with Michael Jordan to create a Team 23 racing. It's just a blessing. And this is, like I said, Nick, we have to be built to not only create our own seats at the table, but to have a seat at the table, to have conversations.
To create the table. It's our table.
Yeah, to create a table. And I think that's what you're seeing us do in NASCAR and whatever other sports that come up, whatever other businesses that come out. I want to be at the forefront of having those conversations to make sure that we don't miss a step in our culture. I don't want to go anywhere fast. I want to appreciate every part of the journey, and there is success in the process. So I'm just having a great time right now.
There it is. So is that the next wave, Kev? Is hip-hop going to take over NASCAR? We're going to be pulling up. There's going to be rims on the NASCAR. We're going to be hitting switches. It's going to have systems in the NASCARs. I can hip-hop at it. Could you imagine rappers driving 200 miles around? Man, I'd pull up.
Listen, our goal is to bring more people of color to the sport. But that being said, Nick, again, when we have the #1 music in the world, everyone's listening. When we do so much for race relations in music, think about the people who listen to our music around the world, the things that we're able to influence because we are successful. And with that success comes a lot of responsibility. So, whether it's sitting on the Seed School board or Success Academy board around education, or sitting on the Gibson board for the Gibson brands of guitars and entertainment. I'm always going to put myself in a position to help move our culture forward and, again, change the narrative. You know what I mean?
Yep, and control the narrative, like you said earlier. And you made such an amazing point as well. Like, having the #1 music around the world, that also means that we have the #1 voice around the world. That also means that because music is an emotional connection, that we have the #1 connection emotionally. So to be able to emphasize and to push forth our messaging and our narrative is quite important, and to really even understand what hip hop was all about. And you coming from Baltimore, it's a voice of struggle. It's a voice of freedom, redemption, reconciliation, but at the same time, it's a voice of revolution.
Yeah, we're always going to be the voice of revolution, and we need all kinds of people in our movement and struggle for equality. Again, we're in the midst of a trial right now that everybody's saying is George Floyd's trial. George Floyd's not on trial. You know what I mean? George Floyd was murdered.
Yes.
And right now, as we go through this process, is that's constantly reminding you of how much work
Control
We
that
have to do
narrative.
even for our civil rights.
See, people don't even think
control,
about that. George Floyd is not on trial.
yeah, you know what I mean? And just
Chauvin
think
is on
about,
trial. Yeah. Yeah, that's real.
just think about all of the hard work that we have to put in. And if I could say anything and encourage anyone listening right now, all of us play a part in change. All of us play a part in the revolution. You know, no matter how small or how big, Martin Luther King can call for the march, but if people not marching, if somebody didn't take off their job, if Rosa Parks didn't sit, you know, these things wouldn't come to fruition. So now that we're still in 2021, still having people lose their life, and I'm not just talking about police brutality, I'm talking about to gun violence, I'm talking about to racism. Look at how much work that we have to be done. So yes, we have the number one music, and yes, we have a number one voice, and yes, we mostly influence a lot of it, but we have to bring about change and work on treating people as human beings. And to my Asian brothers and sisters, you know, stop the Asian hate. To my African American brothers and sisters, there's no need to kill us. You know, there's enough people trying to kill us. And to all my friends and family of different religions, let's work hard on understanding. I'm willing to come and taste the matzo ball soup if you want to come and taste the collard greens.
Absolutely.
You know, however we got to do it to have a better understanding amongst each other. And I'm just so proud of you, Nick, that you continue to weather the storm and continue to learn. You know, when I turned 50, I took on 5 different words that I said. First off, I want to lead. I want to lead a culture that has provided me the opportunity to change my family's life. I want to listen. I want to learn. I want to learn from the younger generation. I want to appreciate their thoughts and create bigger seats at the table for me to listen and learn. I want to love what I do, and more importantly, love the people that I do it with.
Right.
You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, I just want to execute on his plan. His plan is that all people should be created equal. All people should have the opportunity. All people should be working towards evolution and continued revolution for this world to be the place that we want it to be.
Man, such powerful words of wisdom from the OG Kevin Liles. Now, we got to talk hip-hop just for a second because this is what we do on the show. You know, I always do the world-famous top 5, and you actually help cultivate and put forth a lot of people's top 5 artists. So I got to say, come on, man, you got it. I'm going to do a couple of top 5s with you. First off, I'm going to go.
Yeah, Nick, don't get me in trouble.
I'm not going to get you. I'm going to just say, top 5 businessmen that Kevin Liles, or entrepreneurs that Kevin Liles has been influenced by or is currently influenced by.
Man, I have to say, Barry Gordy, Russell Simmons, Bob Johnson, but I also have to say Jack Welch, Dick Parsons, Bill Gates.
All right, that's 6. Now you at 6.
I can
go
go down
on and on.
Those.
But I love how you just kind of put so many different people. Obviously, some who within the industry, and even some of your counterparts. But at the same time, you took it beyond as well. And then we got to keep it hip hop. And I'm not, like I said, I'm not gonna get you in trouble because these are your favorite. We just going on what you prefer. It could even be how you've been influenced, how you came up. Kevin Liles, top 5 MCs.
Inclusive of groups or no?
Yeah, you could throw groups in there as well. Just because I know you probably gonna put Run DMC, so like that you can count that as one if need be.
Okay, all right. So the reason I have to count Run DMC because when they said it wasn't a possibility and they said it was a fad, Joy and Daryl and Jam Master Dave, God rest his soul, went around the world being truly a representation of what it was to grow up African American in the country and build a business. So all praise and due respect to them. And then you go down the list of, what's funny, I've had the opportunity to work with most of them. You go down the list and you look at age 16, what LL was able to do by being the first rapper and being a B-boy and then saying, I need love. You know what I mean? Nobody expected that to come, and now 30 years later, have a sitting in a #1 TV show on NCIS, and not done creating Rock the Bells,
right.
for our culture. So you have to look at him, and then another good friend, Jay-Z,
Right.
who continues to defy what it is to be an entrepreneur, African-American entrepreneur, to not limit itself, to always stay true to the things that he loves and he likes. He saw it back with, Ace of Spades. He saw it back with owning his projects with Rockefeller, actually telling me, Kev, I'm Rockefeller, you know what I mean? I'll
Right.
partner with you guys, but I'm not going to sign directly to labor. So
Smart man.
Smart man, and all the things that he's done, acquiring title, and now partnering with the Twitter founder, early founder there, and then you have to take it outside of those three. I would say, as far as MCs, one of my most favorite MCs will always be Redman.
Oh, wow.
Just because of his flexibility in lyrics and
personality, true to the hip hop core.
Yeah, never leaving him. And then, I have to give love and respect to Pac for him not only having a big R as a rapper, but a revolutionary rapper.
Mm-hmm.
I have to pay love and respect to him. And, Biggie, of course, whose life was cut short before his time, but he made the big guy look sexy in a way that I don't think no one did. His storytelling capability was
second to none.
Just cut too short. And I just love. I can go on.
You can go on. I'm gonna stop you there just because I know. But the way you laid it out was, people who really influenced the game and people who really shifted and shaped culture, and that's important, especially from your perspective, because you sitting at the head of the table and you have to, like you said, you moving these human beings around to make the world a better place through our culture. So we truly appreciate it. And I have to ask, and final thoughts, because you've been dropping so many gems this entire conversation, but in leaving us, in closing, I need some final words of wisdom from Kevin Liles. What it like your favorite quote, something that you get up and say every day, your mantra, something quick to the point. Kevin Liles, wise words.
Well, I'm always going to continue to promote the power of independence. I have a campaign out now that says independence is in my DNA. Right now, I'm competing. We had the most Grammys. Independence had the most Grammys with 52% of the Grammys this year. We had 3 of them. The only other major label that beat us with Grammys, they're 5 times bigger than us. We have, you can be an independent. Again, 300, we have the muscle, the mindset of an independent, but the muscle of a major. And we operate every single day with no red tape. I yell down the hall or yell over Zoom, yo, let's get it done. And I don't have to answer to anybody. And lastly, I would just say, love what you do and praise the people that are working around you because they are human and you never know what somebody's going through. You never know what's. I just lost a cousin to COVID last week.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Listen, I can only say that it was a cousin and she was one of the best friends, Gina Cummins, to me. But she too has to be an example of why we need to get vaccinated. She too has to be an example why we need to wear a mask. She too has to be an example why we need to treat people like human beings and humanize this industry. So with all love and respect, please, we're not to the other side yet, but understand God put us here. And these are biblical times because he gave us the pandemic. He raised police brutality again. He said, you know what? There's racism. He put a president in that took the world in a different place. And even still that, he let us be on this phone call, this Zoom together to say, we will get to the other side. But if you didn't press reset on your life, if you didn't think about everything that got you here and still has you here, and go into the other side being better, being smarter, being more equipped to deal with whatever God has to do, then you're not living life, man. And I want everyone that hears my voice to appreciate getting here, but actually get more tools in your toolbox, because when we get to the other side, there's going to be bigger and better opportunity for us all.
Man, powerful words. And like you said it right there, love what you do and praise the people around you. You dropped so many gems, so many bars on this. Is there a favorite quote that you or someone you quote daily or that you have? Because, I mean, we're going to be quoting you this whole interview, but what's your favorite quote?
I think my mom actually said it to me when I graduated high school. I never, for my whole life, I was told when to go to football practice, told when I had history, told when I had a gym, told when I had English, told when I had science. And then you get out of high school, you go to college, and you get to pick your own schedule. I'm like, well what?
Right.
What? So, my first year I was on scholarship for electrical engineering at Morgan State. Shout out Morgan State and all HBCUs.
Yes, believe that.
I actually, lost my mind because I had the opportunity to choose.
You start turning up at the HBCU.
I start the bridge, and I just, and I'm down in Baltimore, so you got Howard around the corner, you got Hampton down the street, you got, so I kind of, my mom sat me down and she said, well, what do you want to do? And again, I was already successful in music. I said, Mom, I just want to do anything that he presents me with. And she said, say this thing to yourself, Kevin. I believe in myself. Therefore, I am what I believe myself to be. And I've never, in my career, Nick, I'm not held by a box, not held by obstacles. I just believe in myself. Therefore, I am what I believe myself to be. And I will always live a life of service.
Therefore, I am what I believe myself to be. Amazing final words from the OG Kevin Liles. We appreciate you, man. Much continued success. Keep leading, keep charging, keep shining, all right?
Love to the family, man. God bless you.
Love, beloved. Salute.